Hello, everyone. I am Julie Floyd. I am the founder of Styled Life and Styled Life Crown Club. Styled Life Crown Club is for anyone who wants to learn how to grow, care for, and style their natural, curly, kinky, coily, textured hair. Today, we have Aevin Dugas for this very interesting and timely topic. It's actually now a thing on TikTok, maybe going viral, but definitely a thing on TikTok about people who are struggling so much with their natural hair journey that they are thinking about or actually going back to relaxed, straightened hair. This is something that I've heard about in my own circles, and I know it's very difficult. My own journey has been difficult, which is why I founded the Crown Club, to make it easier for all of us. Again, Aevin Dugas is the current female world record holder for the largest afro. She's been with us before. Please welcome her back for our second webinar on this topic. Thank you, Aevin.
Thank you for having me, Julie. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction. I was just telling Julie, I don't know what I was thinking, y'all, scheduling this for this week, because if you don't know, I'm in Louisiana. I'm like 45 minutes from New Orleans. It's Mardi Gras weekend. And I'm like, it's going to be a lot going on. So we're going to make it roll today. But after this, after an hour, I got to go because Laissez le bon temps brûlé. I got to go. I'm about to let the good times roll and hit the streets. So basically what Julie said, so I saw the topic as well. Actually, one of my best friends sent it to me, and it was this topic of this girl talking about why she wants to go back to a relaxer. And I was like, a lot of people are doing that. So we had the discussion, and I've discussed it with my sister and cousins and friends. And because people are saying relaxers are too hard, and there's something that I want to say. Well, I guess I can say it later on. No, let me say it now before I forget. I'm getting older, so let me say it now. As far as like us trying to learn our natural hair, one thing I will say is, and let me just say before I get started, it is your right to do what you want with your hair. I am not knocking relaxers. I'm just trying to see if you can find another way to get results without necessarily going back to something that it has been proven now to be so harmful. But let me just say this. I feel like we learn so much about our hair when it comes to, because I've seen it all over everywhere. When I've seen people do installs, when I see people match the hair. Matter of fact, I was on a TV show, and I played it was a game show, and I had to fake as if I was a stylist, and I had to learn about lace fronts, and we figure out all these things about other textures of hair to put on our hair to cover up our own hair, and everybody has their reasons why they wear it. We can put that energy into just wearing our hair natural and not having to worry about going back to something like a relaxer. So let's try put energy into us instead of other things that are coming from places that we have no clue where they're coming from. Basically, yeah, going back from being natural to relaxer, I get it. Natural hair is hard, but the only reason it's hard is because it literally, our hair, our own human grown hair, it wasn't taught to us. And because of society, unfortunately, and it wasn't like people were out there. Well, sometimes people were saying that our hair was this and that and negative connotations. But because we didn't see representation, because we didn't have the tutorials and stuff like this, and like what you have, Julie, people, unfortunately, we're not comfortable with dealing with our own hair. For instance, I was in a grocery store one morning, a gas station, and my hair was like this in a bun. And this lady looks at it and she goes, "That's all your hair?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She was like, "My daughter has hair just like that." And I hate it. And before I could even say thank you, she went, "I hate it." And I was like, I didn't know what to say. And she was like, "And I tell her that all the time." And I was like, oh my God. So imagine, I didn't have that at home. I didn't have people coming at me negatively at home. So imagine, as far as people coming at you negatively from childhood on up, this is why we're having so many problems with dealing with our hair, from the negativity of your mama saying she doesn't want to comb it, your daddy saying they don't want to comb it, we teasing each other saying it's ugly, it's this and that. I think this is what makes it so hard, because nobody's going to anybody when it comes to straight hair. Nobody's complaining when it's straight hair. But for some reason, when it's in this naturally textured state, it's a problem. So I get that it's hard. But before you go and jump back into the relaxer pool, I just want you to think about some things. For instance, I did a TV show years ago, a talk show, and I had the option of doing two shows. One of them wanted me to come on, and it was just like a regular talk show. The other one was a medical show called The Doctors. If you go look on YouTube, you will see my interview with the doctors, and you will see where they said, and this interview was like 2012, that relaxers were linked to fibroids. That was 2012. So you know it was out a long time before that. And now we have this new case with the class action lawsuit where it's linked to cancer. And it makes me wonder when I hear so many African American women who are having problems with fibroids, because now all of a sudden the birth mothers of the world, who at one time we were used to birth and we were, having them like it was nothing. All of a sudden now we're having problems with having babies. Maybe we should think about, maybe it really is that, because back then we didn't have relaxers. It was just our natural hair. All of a sudden now we're having problems having babies. And I'm just saying all of this so people can think before jumping into something that's so permanent, because permanent. And it's like there's so many options, and I want to go over the options. I'm gonna go over them because this is the thing. I've seen so many influencers. I've seen it. They go natural and their hair is really pretty. And sometimes you may not end up liking your hair. Sometimes your hair may not do what you want it to do. But most times the influencers, their hair is really pretty. Then they're like, I'm tired of doing my hair, I'm over it. And then they decide to go back to a relaxer. And I'm like, yeah, you think you're gonna have that pretty same bouncy ponytail? Because to me, when we press our hair from its natural state, it has a lot of body. And I feel like, to me, in my mind, it has body because I feel like our curls are alive, right? Our hair is still alive. But when you go and put that relaxer on it, I feel like it kind of deadens it, it kills it. And so at first, there's some life and it's really pretty. But then after a while, it becomes lifeless. And you can always press your hair. And we can maybe talk about that another time on how to do blowouts, because I blow out my own hair because I get it. Blowouts are expensive. But yeah, I get it. You want to go natural. You think you're going to have this, gorgeous hair. And every time they end up coming back to being natural because something goes wrong and they got to cut it all over again. And before y'all say it's just hair, if it's just hair, why are we having all these webinars and stuff? It's not just hair. It's more than, it's a hairstyle. And everybody likes a certain hairstyle. They like their hair done a certain way. Everybody knows if your hair's not right before you step out the door, nothing else matters. You can have the best outfit on in the world, right? But if your hair is not done, it's just not the same. So this is my thing to y'all. This is like a little assignment. And it's one of those things. I actually did this for myself years ago, and I was supposed to put it out. I never did, and I probably should just go ahead and put it out. I wrote a letter to my hair. I know that sounds crazy, but write a letter to your hair. But I apologize to my hair because I did so much to it. I burned it. I put a chemical on it that completely killed it. I just felt like back then I didn't care. I didn't care what happened. As long as it laid flat and did what I wanted it to do, that was all I needed. I didn't want it to, like I call it my sugar cane rolls. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want it to be in this natural state. And that's insane. So write a letter to your hair, make a list of things that you don't like about your hair. Dear Elaine, whatever you want to call it. I haven't named my hair, but I know most people name their hair. Write a letter or write some notes to your hair. I don't like this. I don't like that. And then read it back and then wonder, like, what did my hair do that was so bad that I hate it so much? And then ask yourself, why do you truly want to permanently destroy that hair? Because it's not about it. It's not about going, wearing your hair straight. I wear my hair straight a lot. I mean, that's a hairstyle. It's about permanently going straight. Because for me, I know when I went natural, I just happened to wake up one morning and I said to myself, why are you permanently straightening your hair? Like, I just woke up, and that's usually how stuff happens with me. I wake up and something clicks in my head. And I was like, you don't have to straighten your hair. You can have your grandma press your hair. Because it was that long ago that I was like, I'll just let my grandma press it. And then it did. It took 5 years for me to go natural. But once I got the hang of it, it was nothing. And then I finally, one day I chopped when I was ready. I transitioned. I did not big chop. And from there, it was easy for me. And I get that for some of y'all, it may not be easy. So I can give you some tips on things you can do to make your hairstyles last, like protective style, I guess you can say. So you don't necessarily have to go to just permanently straightening your hair. There are styles you can do. For instance, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I made notes and I'm not looking at them. I'm sorry, y'all. So again, write the letter to your hair. Really, just telling it what you don't like. Not the You can write the positive stuff too, but look at the negative stuff and then wonder, like, why is this such a problem? The second thing to question is, well, my question is it your wash days? And by wash days, I mean, because I see so many people and I see these memes and videos where people are like, oh, it takes me, 2,986 minutes, hours to do my hair. And I'm wondering, okay, from there, why is it taking so long? Is it your technique? Because technique is everything. Like, I have big hair. I obviously, large afro. It takes me, like last night, I shampooed my hair, conditioned it, and then I put it in some plaits so I can get it into this bun. That took under an hour for me to do my whole head, and I had to detangle and everything. So I think with a lot of people, technique has been a problem because I feel like people are trying to do their hair all in one situation instead of parting it into 4 sections, from here to the back and then from ear to ear. And from those 4 sections, you then take smaller sections and you detangle a little at a time. Don't be a hero. Don't try and detangle your whole head. We're not, just even like when I was young, my mama didn't really put it in sections because again, we didn't know. But if you break it off into smaller sections, it makes the hair easier to deal with. So, is your technique good? How are the products that you're using? Meaning, are they working for you? Meaning, is your hair flourishing? Do you see it growing? Do you see shine? Do you see bounce? Because if you see something where it makes it hard for you to detangle, or if the shampoo, when you finish shampooing, your hair just feels kind of icky, it doesn't have like at least some kind of softness to it after you use your moisturizing shampoo or whatever shampoo you use. Again, detangling, do you have enough slip? Then move on to your styling products. Do they work for you? Because with a lot of people, stylers, number one, people don't use them right. And I am guilty of that. I have done that before. I used to get products and just throw them on my head. I remember I had this, it was like a butter and it was like a shea butter type situation. So, it's hard. I scooped a bunch out, rubbed it in my hands. And this is a long time ago, of course. Rubbed it in my hands and then just tried to run it through my hair. And it was just this hard, bricky stuff all over my hair. And you know what I said? Oh, that product doesn't work. It doesn't work. The product. And then I realized I didn't read the directions where it said part your hair, start with a small amount, use a little more if you need to. So how are the products that you're using? And this is a question. Now, this is a big question to ask yourself. Are you disappointed with your hairstyles once you do them? And why are you disappointed with your hairstyles? Is it because you saw somebody else do a tutorial and you tried to do the same thing? You used the same products, you did the same technique, and for some reason it did not come out the way you wanted it. So you're like, screw it, I don't like it. It doesn't work. For this, I would say you probably need to try again because the technique that works for me may not work for you. That's why I always give disclaimers like, look, it works for me. It may not work for you. And that is okay because we all have these different, we all have different hair. It may look the same visually, but that doesn't mean it's going to act the same. For instance, I have a story. When I first went natural, my hair was like this short, like my fro kind of looked like Huey on the Boondocks, right? So there was this girl at Southern University and she was already natural. And I asked, I was like, how do you do your hair? Because it was just like Huey on the Boondocks. And I had just cut my hair, so I really didn't know what to do with it. And she was like, well, I shampoo and condition with ABC or A and B, and then I use this mousse. And she said, and I just put it in my hair and I put my hair down, I shake it, and I come up, and that's it. And so I literally went home and I bought the shampoo, I bought the conditioner, I bought the mousse, and I was so excited. I was like, this is what she told me to do. And I did it that exact way. And I shook it and I came up And y'all, I went to cussing and fussing. I called the girl a liar. I was like, she is lying. This did not work. She didn't tell me a step. She just doesn't want my hair to look good like her hair looked. And I realized it wasn't her, it was me. Basically, she had like a curly fro. So I think she had kind of like a wash and go. But for her, when her hair is wet, her curls, I think, took better. With mine, I needed to use like a Denman brush or something to get the curls to clump together. So for years, I held on to like this resentment for that girl because I'm like, she lied, but she didn't lie, y'all. It was me. So sometimes when you look at a tutorial, you need to go back and say, you know what? Maybe let me try this, or maybe let me use a little bit more product. Maybe let me use a little bit less product, because you can look at someone's hair and think y'all have the exact same hair. But from what you eat, what you drink, medications, if you take vitamins, the water around where you live, the climate outside, all of these things factor how your hair reacts to products. And so because of those things, and plus it can look the same dry, but it's still going to be a different hair because that's not you. Everybody, it's almost like every person's hair has its own DNA. It's like a fingerprint. Everybody's is different. So you just have to figure out what works for your fingerprint. Um, and again, ask yourself, and not knocking relaxers, because I have seen some beautiful relaxers. But what about natural hair is so hard? Because if you start asking yourself the questions and trying to figure out, then maybe you can get to the answer. So, and also ask about your hair. Like, what is it that you don't like? Like, ask yourself, what is it about my hair that I don't like? Not do I like my hair, but what is it like? What about my hair just gets on my nerves? Is it the kitchens in the back? Because I know a lot of people, I have a friend, she shaves her kitchen. Y'all know what kitchens are, right? I hope y'all know what kitchens are. Kitchens are the nape of your neck to curl. Some people apparently, I didn't know. I thought everybody knew what a kitchen was. Everybody didn't know. This is the kitchens in the back. Okay, so some people shave that. Like, what is it about your hair that's so irritating? Again, that you want to go to something that has now been proven to cause cancer. And let me just touch on that right quick with the cancer, and then proven to cause fibroids. I know so many African American women, just that I know, who have had hysterectomies. And again, we were the birth mothers of this country. We go from that to all of a sudden having to have our wombs removed. I wonder if there's a link. I'm not saying that's what it is. Don't go put a story out there saying I said that. I didn't say that. I'm just wondering if that could be the possibility. So to me, I would rather just trust some shampoo, conditioner, even though I know, those stuff we have to get into what's in the products, and a styling product, excuse me, over something that is permanent, because it is a permanent situation. And again, if that's what you want, I understand, but there are options. Number one, blowouts. Why isn't a blowout like an option as far as doing it yourself? Because then you can always wear it in a blowout when you want. Then you can give it a break and wear it in a curly texture when you want. I myself blow out my own hair. Maybe that's something we could talk about too, as far as how to do a blowout at home. Because again, I have a lot of hair, and my blowout situation takes probably 3 hours from start to finish at home. Yeah, it does not take that long. 4 hours if I'm on something like I really want it like bone straight, bone straight. But I tend to not like hit it that hard with the heat, only because you do have to be careful with your heat. But do you have the right tools? The right heat protectant, the right styling tool, the right technique. All of those things can make your natural hair journey so much easier. And I think it's a lot of people just throwing products at you. You constantly seeing people throwing products and people showing you the techniques that's working for them. But to me, I guess it should be like more simple techniques, just for simple days. Like, you don't always have to do a perm rod set, a twisted curl and a this and a that, just to get you through. It basically is like you just need something to show you how to shampoo, condition, and get through that part alone. Like, I don't need all the other fancy stuff. At the end of the day, you can always put your hair in some twist and go. I think we need to make it easier, because I feel like all of that is what's making it so hard for people to want to go back to relaxers. Because I always hear people say, because I could just throw it in a ponytail and go. Well, I could just throw it in a bun and go. I can put a bun to the front, just like a ponytail. I can put my bun anywhere I want. This is a dry, what I call a dry bun, meaning I let my hair dry first before I put it into a bun. Once it dry, I sat under the hair dryer for 25 minutes last night. By the time I took it loose today around 10 something, it was pretty much dry. I barely hit it with the blow dryer just to give it a good stretch because it's going to be a long weekend, as I said, Mardi Gras. And then I slicked it up with some gel and water and pinned it, and that was it. And I was done. You know, so another thing, twists, besides doing a blowout at home, twisting your hair. Now with twist, there's all kind of possibilities. And the thing is, I get it. Twists are a hairstyle. So I got you. Some people may not want to wear twists as a hairstyle, but I used to wash my hair, blow it, well, shampoo, condition, all of that, blow it out. Then I would put it in small twists. Now they weren't mini twists like those. I'm sorry, they weren't micro twists because I tried micro twists years ago and they were nice. But what you have to be careful about with something like a micro twist, they last you a long time. But as pieces of your hair start coming out of the twist, they begin, because your hair is curly, kinky, coily, it starts to wrap around the twist. So then you end up kind of with a dreadlock situation, and you don't want your hair to lock situation. You don't want your hair to lock up. So to me, micro twists are kind of teetering on. You can wear those for about 2 weeks safely before it starts turning into an issue where you might have some damage. But with your twist, you can blow it out, put it in twists, and then you set those twists in a hairstyle. I used to set my twists in layers to where it looked like my hair was straight, but it was just these twists that I would, like, say I would roll some up to here, I would roll some up to here, and I would roll some up to here. And then when you take it loose, you had this style that looked like, sometimes I roll it into a bob where I would make them stop right here. So it would look like I had this bob, and it looked like maybe I had locks in my hair or something like that. But it was just my hair twisted. And from there, I would put the rollers, and that gave me a whole other look. You can tie a scarf around it. Scarves are everywhere now. So you tie a silk or satin scarf. You have your twist hanging down, and it's cute. You throw on some earrings, you throw on some lipstick, you leave out the door. You can take twists and then you can put a head wrap over it, because I love a good head wrap. Head wrap means you rely strictly on your face card. And I love our face card. So it's like, put your hair in a nice head wrap and then rely on your face card. If you're into makeup, do your little makeup. You don't have to do a lot. Put some earrings on, put a good lipstick on, and go. And these are all cute options that you can have to where it doesn't bring you back to having to go to something that's permanent. Lately I have gotten into twist outs again, only because I had left them alone for a while. I wear my twists in my hair for a week, and then I take it a loose, well, almost a week, and then I take it a loose towards the end of the week, and then I wear it in a twist out. And every day I just kind of let it get bigger and bigger on its own until I'm ready to wash my hair again, which is about 7 days, maybe a little bit more, only because they really have been holding better. I've started using mousse to style my hair. That makes it much easier because mousse dries faster, because also, again, you don't want to sit under the dryer all day, because I get it, our hair is thick. And the air has to circulate through all of that, all those curls. So no matter what the density of your hair, it does take a while for your hair to dry. So I've started, try mousses or something. But y'all, there's so many options that you can go to besides just going back to something, again, that's permanent. Just I just don't want people to make a decision and then, God forbid, something happen, you end up sick. I mean, these days, people don't really care what they're putting in products. So to me, we already have enough when it is just eating and drinking, regular stuff. We don't need to take it to putting something that literally kills your hair. It takes it from being curly to just straight. And nobody else is doing it, y'all. Nobody else is permanently taking their texture away from their hair. Everybody else is keeping their hair the way it is. And we, as African American women, or women of African descent, and men, we are going and doing something to our hair that's permanent. And you're saying, oh, it's just hair, da 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 da. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than hair. There's something wrong with you saying, I want to permanently, I don't want to say destroy, but permanently get rid of something that's as natural as the lashes growing from your eyes. Like, I mean, this is, I'm sorry. I'm not understanding. And yes, some people may say, well, you had it easy. I didn't always have it easy. The style started coming to me as I went natural. So I started trying stuff, but it didn't always work. I didn't always, my hair didn't always grow the way it was supposed to. I have broken my hair off before. I have lost hair before doing and trying different things. I've gone through all the stuff. It's just that when it first happened for me, social media wasn't really like a thing. So it wasn't anything that I talked about. And now that I've been more present on my social media page, I'm going to talk about all the times that I've messed up my hair, from hair color. I've had the heat damage. I've had all of these things, but it never wanted me to say, you know what? That's it. I'm going to take all the time and energy that I went into to cut my hair and go back to its natural state, to destroy it within 20 minutes and rely on something that usually is made by companies that really don't care about us as much as they care about the money, because natural hair is such, well, our hair is such a thing. Even before natural hair was a trend, our hair has been a thing. Like when you talk about hair shows and whatnot, it's our hair shows that you see that are a real big thing, because that's where the money is. Nobody cares. It's just about the money. So to me, and I get that. Not, huh? Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. I was going to say, I know you have so much more to
Yes.
talk about, but I thought
Yes.
this might be a good place to take a break
Sure.
because there are so many things that you mentioned. And I actually have people texting me questions to make sure I ask because I can't be on today.
Okay.
But one of the things that I think would be worth you spending more time on,
Mhm.
this whole discussion about how hard it is to be natural. And I agree. I think it's hard. I have been on this journey for like 6 years now.
Okay.
And it's why I started the Crown Club. All of those things you're saying, the trial and error,
Mhm.
right? By putting together the Crown Club, we're trying to eliminate or really decrease the amount of trial and error that
Right.
people have,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And I heard you say even earlier that you did, let me make sure I heard this correctly. After 5 years, did you do a big chop of growing out your own hair?
After 5 years, I transitioned. So
Transition.
basically, I decided to go natural. And I wish I had the book around me right now. I say, well, maybe I didn't save it. Maybe I finally let it go. I had like a little planner. And in the planner, I wrote, now let me tell y'all something. I didn't like homework. I didn't like school. I didn't like keeping up with anything, but I found my planner and I had I forget however many weeks was, perm, 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 perm. I thought that was insane because that's how much it meant to me. And for 5 years, I went back and forth. So I let it grow. And as soon as I would see, my little cornrows, my little sugar cane rows coming, I would put a perm on it because I didn't know what to do with it. And after 5 years, I saw a friend whose sister's hair was, it was natural, but she had just gotten her braids taken out. She had like braid extensions. And now I realized her hair looked kinky like that because she had taken her braid extensions out. But I said, well, how'd you get your hair like that? And she was like, oh, well, I live in Atlanta. Everybody wears their hair natural. And in my head, I'm like, that doesn't answer the question. And then it hit me, just do braids. So I just got cornrows to the back. And I let her sister do the cornrows a couple of times. And then I started setting my hair on perm rods. And I would just set it tight. Then I would pull the curls loose and I would use pink lotion. Remember that lustrous pink lotion? So pull the curls loose. And then I would brush it up this way and tie a scarf. And it looked like this curly puff. And that's how I masked not being natural, because of course by then this part has grown out. So this part is natural. And then they see these curls. So people thought I was natural until I showed up one day at school with my hair this short. And my friend was very surprised because I left school with this puff. And the next day I came back, my hair was this short. And he was like, you can't show up to school bald headed. So yeah, it's one of those things where it took me 5 years. It wasn't just this
Yeah.
overnight thing. And for some people it is. And kudos to y'all.
Well,
Okay.
would you say that one reason why it takes or many of us so long is because so many of us don't know, we don't have the experience. We didn't grow up learning how to take care of our natural hair. I certainly did not. I had a chemical relaxer for really as long as I can remember as a kid into my middle age.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely say I feel like it's because number one, we don't know. Because, for a lot of people, I remember everybody be like, oh, they tender headed. And I used to hear this term tenderhead all the time. And I'm wondering if tenderheaded was just children crying because they were so used to somebody just combing straight through their hair. And it does hurt because if somebody just combs through curls and the curls are all tangled, it does hurt if that became like a traumatic experience. So every time they start to comb the brush, they're freaking out. And so I feel like from there on up, yes, it's hard. We don't know how to deal with our hair. And on top of that, nobody knew techniques and whatnot. And on top of that, you're scared because this is a whole new situation. And because we have to have discussions like this about something so minute as our hair, we're afraid of how people are going to look at us. How are we going to look? Is my boyfriend, is my husband, is my wife, is my girl, how is it? So I think it's all those things that stop people from just and their jobs, because unfortunately it is 2024. We just got here. But unfortunately, we are still dealing with jobs telling people that they can't wear their hair in its natural state, which is insane. That's another topic. But I think it's all those factors from the trauma of when you were little getting your hair combed, and like the little girl, like the woman told me, I hate doing your hair. That baby's gonna grow up and end up with a perm, or someone else's hair in their head, to cover it up, because unfortunately nobody's telling her how beautiful her hair is. So I feel like it's a ball of stuff that has caused people to not, well, that makes it hard for people to, go natural.
Yeah, and you've touched on so many of the struggles that I know I personally have had, and some
Mm-hmm.
of my friends have also had,
Mm-hmm.
especially during that transition period. And with products, you mentioned earlier that some things work for one person, but not another. I know I
Right.
deal with a lot of frizz. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can use a ton of gel one
Mm-hmm.
day, and the next day, if there's like 10% humidity,
It
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
right.
My hair is in frizz, and that doesn't happen to everyone. But, this was really important to us to cover as a topic, because I do think that over the past 10 years, maybe a little bit more, but certainly within the past 10 years, there has been this movement of being really proud about our natural hair, proud about however it grows out of our head, our crown, right? Whatever the texture. And I feel like um, there has been a lot of acceptance and support within our own community that,
Yes.
quite honestly, I didn't grow up with.
Yeah.
And it made me sad to hear
Mm-hmm.
that it's just become too hard for people, and because
Yeah.
it's hard, and it's what we're trying to do to make it easier. I mean, hair takes work,
It
but
does.
I think that hair takes work for a lot of people, whether or not you have textured hair.
Right.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the grass is always greener on the other side, regardless of
Right.
what kind of hair you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yep.
takes work and it takes time.
Right.
And I'm learning still to to allow myself to have that time, because I'm worth it.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like you said, you're worth it. It's one of those things, maybe like I posted recently, have an affair with your hair. Learn to fall in love with your hair. Just kind of look at it and appreciate those rows. I don't care how small the curls are. I don't care how tight your kitchens are. That is your hair that was given to you, and appreciate it. It's a beautiful thing. I love to see all the different textures. One of my favorite afros is Florida Evans, because if you look at a picture of her like really close, and you see these little bitty curls come together to make this perfect circle. I mean, come on, that is just absolutely gorgeous. So learn, and again, that's a hairstyle. Some people may not like that hairstyle, but there's just so many possibilities with our hair. And if it wasn't that big of a deal with our hair, then why are so many people jumping on the train to make money off of it? you
Right.
know, who are just coming in just like strictly for, not to help people, but just to, get in their pockets and run. There's a reason why it makes so much money, because it's a big deal. Our hair is really a big deal, and it's bigger than most of us even realize. Like, you're walking around with a gold mine on your head and you don't even realize it. I saw a video recently on TikTok, and it was some Asians getting their hair, and they wrapped it around a needle, and so they're getting a perm, because Caucasians, when they get a perm, their hair goes curly. You remember that? So yeah, when Caucasians get a perm, well, they're getting a perm and they're wrapping it around something almost as small as a knitting needle, so their hair can look like kinky hair. and they have afros and whatnot. So I'm like, so where is this going? What are we doing with this?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And meanwhile, we're running from it, and it's our hair. That's insane to me.
And
So
what else can we be doing to support one another in this? I mean, again, we've put together the Crown Club. We're so fortunate to have you.
thank
I'm
you,
going to say it again for anyone who hasn't heard, the world record holder for the female with the biggest afro. And you can look up Aevin Dugas and her pictures and her beautiful,
thank
beautiful.
you,
It's not even a crown. I mean, it's a mane, it's a crown, it's glory. It's just glorious.
thank you,
But we do want the Style Life Crown Club to be a supportive place for all of us. We can ask questions. We can pull each other along when you think, oh gosh, this is just a bit too hard. I have
yes,
had two friends say to me, oh my gosh, it's just so much work. It's so much work.
mm,
Um, and I know I get that.
mm.
What else can we be doing and saying to one another to keep our community motivated?
I would say, first of all, to me, I think sometimes when we look at doing our hair, we're imagining the outcome to look like someone else's. And don't do that because you're expecting something that's on somebody else's head. As I said earlier, that's their hair. So learn to appreciate whatever, however yours turns out. And if your twist out doesn't turn out right, put it in a pinup. Grab a couple of bobby pins, put a pinup is one of those styles you can do, and it's kind of like a oop style because half the time I don't know what I'm doing when I'm pinning my hair up. I just start rolling and pinning, but it turns into this glorious hairstyle. But I would just say, don't look at others when you're trying to style your hair and go for simpler stuff and do the harder stuff when you really have time to like really master it and figure it out. I think we all think we have to walk around with our hair out all the time. This is how my hair is all the time. Now, lately, like I said, I have gotten into my twist outs lately, which I appreciate because I know before somebody says you're not supposed to have buns all the time, and that's true. It's only like this for the weekend because I don't like wearing my hair out in public too much, not because of the ginseng, it has nothing to do with it, because I like to protect my ends. So I too like protective styles. I just don't put other hair in my head to do the protective style. And my protective style lasts like a week or a
Right.
week and a half if I'm really pushing it. But try stuff that's a little simpler. You know, learn how to do two quick French braids to the back and pin it in the back, or the fake French braids where it's like the what are those? Those twists. I used to do them, but I just called them twists to my scalp. But they have a name for them now. You know, learn how to do something like that and pin it. Something where you don't have a lot of tension on your hair. So give your scalp a break and
When
give and tuck your ends.
when
Mhm.
you braid your hair, do French braids, do you straighten it first or do you do it
No,
wet? You do it
I
wet.
do it wet. Yeah, I do it wet. I don't really do dry French braids, and I haven't done it in a while because believe it or not, my hair's gotten thicker. So when I do the French braids, when I lay on it, it's like laying on two ropes, and it gives me a headache. But that used to too be one of my favorite styles. Like, and it's so cute. And you can pin them up, you can wear them down, you can take the ends loose and wear it out. Again, my name is Aevin Dugas. I'm addicted to detangling. I would detangle mine every night and put it back up because I just don't like my ends out for too long. And that's another thing I think people want to, I think I already said it, but I'll say it again. You want to wear a style where your hair is always down and out, but protect your ends. That's the oldest part of your hair. So find styles that are very low manipulative as far as, doing all kind of stuff to your hair to where you're protecting your ends. And then on the fun days, let your fro grow. Let it, wear it however you want. And then on the other days, do stuff that's just easier to maintain so it doesn't feel like this mental work all the time. Because I think sometimes we're going for like the hardest styles just to go to work and be aggravated at work. They're not getting my good hair.
Yeah.
They're not getting my good
So,
hair.
so you said a couple of things that just resonated with me. And
Mhm.
before I mention that, I do want people to go ahead and put questions in the chat if they want, or raise their hand if they want to go ahead and speak. But you said every day you don't have to have your hair out and protect your ends. I have this idea in my mind that I'll know I'm done with my hair growth journey when I can wear my hair out every day. But I've heard you say at least twice, like that's not the goal. You can have all these different hairstyles.
Mhm,
And it didn't occur to me until I heard you say, I think I heard you say it the first time, but the second
mhm,
time it's like, oh, so my goal doesn't have to be like I'm like this every day.
mhm. Right, right. Because you know why? Because okay, I found a picture. Again, I wish I had thought about all this before we started. There was a picture of this girl I saw in a magazine when I first went natural, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love her hair. It's so cute. I can't wait till my hair gets that length." I lost the picture. Found the picture years later. My hair way past hers. My hair was way past hers. Even my mom's picture from when I used to look at her fro. The first time I ever wore my fro, I was like, "Oh, mama, my hair bigger than yours." Like, okay. And the thing with that is hide the hair from you. And you'll be surprised if you do like I've been wearing my hair in those twists, right? So however it falls, it falls. But I happened to look recently on a picture and I can tell I've just been doing twists since probably the end of last year, like twist outs. And it's grown already because I wasn't paying attention to it. I wasn't concentrating on like I wasn't doing the test trying to see like let me see how much hang time. Just don't pay attention to it, of course, to make sure you don't have breakage when you're washing your hair. Pay attention to that. If you see where your hair's starting to break or it's shedding more than normal, start thinking about the last thing you did. Am I on a medication? Did I change a product? What is my again technique? What are my styling products? What have I been eating? Supplements, all of that kind of stuff, because these are all the things that I've had happen and have messed with my hair, multivitamins and everything. Who knew? But just start doing stuff to where I'm really not paying attention. And then one day when you really go to do it, it's like, holy crap, my hair grew so much. So that's what I do. Most of the time it's just up. Like when I blew it out today, I was like, oh wow, it's grown a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do like a hard blow. I just did a light blow. But I can tell it grew, but most of the time it's just in those twists. I take the twist out when I'm ready. I wear it out for a couple of days. And as soon as I'm like, yeah, you're getting a little bit too comfortable just being out and all out in public, I put it back up and I twist it back up again. And actually, I feel like after Mardi Gras, I kind of feel like doing maybe some plaits or something to just really keep it like that. I'm gonna try for 2 weeks because I've gotten it to wash shampoo in my hair once a week. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing I want to say is some time ago, I can't remember exactly when, um, one of my sisters who grew her hair out naturally long before I did, long
Mm-hmm.
before I did. I think we were getting ready to go somewhere. I was like, oh my God, my hair looks a mess. Like I can't wear it out like
Mm-hmm.
this. I was like, oh, it looks terrible. And I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said something like, we don't know what our hair is supposed to look, or like no one knows what your hair is supposed to look like when it looks good. She's
Right.
like, just wear it and wear it proud, and it
She's
looks
right.
good. I'm totally paraphrasing, but the
Mm-hmm.
point she was making is you don't think it looks perfect because you have this idea in your mind of how it should
Right.
be,
How you want
but
it to look.
nobody
Right.
else knows. Nobody
Right.
else knows. So it
Mm-hmm.
looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, that has stayed with me on
Yeah.
so many days, so many times. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm sure it does look better, than
Right.
my self-criticism because I'm still getting used to this. I'm a middle-aged woman still learning about my natural hair.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. And that's the thing, because like I said, because of non-representation, because of people turning up their noses at it and people asking questions and like the lady in the store, I hate it and this and that. It does make it harder, but that's them. And that's where like for me with when I went natural, the self-love part came in, because before that, I was like, oh, I wish my nose was smaller. And I remember somebody telling me my lips were so big in school one time. And all of these things were going in my head. And once I got past the whole natural hair thing, because I remember just looking in the mirror after I cut my hair off and I was like, it's so pretty. And again, everybody may not have that moment. And I understand that because, there's stuff that happens when you're younger that may, I didn't have a childhood where my mama told me like the little girl, your hair's so ugly, I hate it. But I'm just looking in the mirror like, oh, it's so pretty. But once you get past that part of this really is beautiful. Like, look at this, look at these curls. You really start to really not give a, what about anything else that anybody has to say when it comes to your looks. So it's kind of like looking at yourself and being like, I accept all of this.
Right.
And if you're accepting that, then from there it just kind of moves on to everything else, and your hair is gonna fall right in with it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm even trying to, I'm learning how to and trying to get better at accepting the frizz because
yeah,
maybe the
yeah,
frizz is how it's supposed to look that day.
right, right,
It
right,
doesn't have to be a defined curl
right.
every,
And that's
right?
very true. It is very true. And I can also, there are some techniques for washing those, because so with the frizz, I understand, because you know why? Because with frizz comes big hair. And I do love big hair, obviously, but I like for my hair to start off small and get big. So when I would do a wash and go and it was automatically big, like they say 5 day hair on the first day, and I gotta go to work, I'm like, we're not doing this. I don't have time for this. Like, so I get it. I get why you get annoyed with the frizz, because it's not just frizz, it's a hairstyle. That frizz equals a hairstyle. And you may not be going for that particular hairstyle. But again, there are techniques you can do that may help with toning down the frizz some. And from there, and don't pick it, you know, we have the handed hair thing. I'm guilty of that too, touching it constantly. I see people after they do their wash and go, they pick it to fluff it. Don't fluff it, just let it be. And as the days go on, it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger on its own. And then when you're ready to hit the streets, then you pick that mug out, and then you have the big hair you want. You got your outside street hair, and then it's like bam. And then you go back inside and tone it back down and then start it all over.
One day we're going to do a everyone show up with your afro, or you're going to teach us how to do it. I
Yes.
know I said
Yes.
that once before because I still want to learn how to do that. I
Yes.
actually want to read a comment that someone put in the chat.
Okay.
So someone said, no question, just a comment.
Mhm.
Since the beginning of time in this country, our natural features were depicted as ugly, wrong, and animalistic, to the point where we, and everyone believes it. That's why we don't know how to style our natural hair. We were
Mhm.
conditioned to master how to style our hair the other way,
Mhm.
to resemble white European. I don't think styling my natural hair is difficult. I actually think it's much easier than keeping it straight. Part of being proud of our natural hair and features. I love
Mhm.
that.
I love that too. Yeah, and that's true. I always say they did a doozy on us, but now it's 2024. We have to get over that, because for me, like we're middle aged. The little girls, I don't want them to go through the stuff that we went through. So that stuff like this, thank you for starting what you started, and like what I do. It's always been about just making people love themselves, because we have so much other stuff. When you walk out the door, you have stuff going on. The last thing you need to worry about, like you with your beautiful hair and your beautiful face, you being concerned with, I can't go anywhere because my hair doesn't look good. Girl, go outside. Like she said, nobody knows what technically your good style is supposed to be. Your hair is cute, So yeah, we're gonna help each other get over these humps. I'm gonna try my best to help people to get over the humps, because once you get over that, then you can have that affair with your hair. And to where it's like nobody can tell you nothing.
Well, I think that's what we're learning. We're learning that, if I can paraphrase and speak for probably many people I don't know, um, in addition to myself, that our hair, the way it grows out of our head, looks wonderful
It does.
many different ways. I don't mean different styles, but
Right,
whether it's just washed or wash and we've put the twists in, or washed and now it's frizzy and big, all of that. And I think that we are not used to seeing the myriad of ways an individual's natural hair can look. Because, back to the other person's point, if someone has straight hair, they have straight hair and it's always straight.
right,
And
right.
right. But
Mhm.
our hair it's different. Like
Right,
it might be straighter than others sometimes. It might be, and maybe frizzy is not even a good word. I mean, it's certainly a technical term that we all know,
right, and that
but
yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah,
yeah, but maybe there's something else to call it so that we're comfortable with our hair when it's got defined curls and when it doesn't, because
yeah,
it does manifest itself in different ways.
right. And the thing, like you said, with the word frizzy, we tend to use it the wrong way, just like with nappy, right? Like naps, like or naps in the carpet. That's just like how tightly the carpet's woven. You know how like some carpet is really tight and hard, then there's some that's loose. All that means is just the tightness of the like a woven fabric. That has nothing to do with our hair. Like that's something that they used on us, and we've taken it and now we use it on each other, which is another topic. And unfortunately, it keeps going and going. But for now, for me, that kind of stuff doesn't bother. Like it's just words. It's just words. And once we get past that mental part of, you know, it's just a word and it really doesn't mean anything and it's not negative and you are beautiful, your hair is beautiful, then that kind of stuff won't bother you. You won't care. Like somebody, oh, your kitchen should leave my kitchen alone. My kitchen not bothering. You know, why are you out of my life? Get out my head. Like
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So what would you say if you were going to speak directly to someone who did a TikTok or an Instagram on going back to relaxer? And I actually did look at
Mhm.
a couple of them before
Yeah.
this webinar.
Hmm.
What would the message be?
The message would be, like I said, what is it about your hair that was so hard that you need to go back to something so permanent? And the message would also be, learn to love yourself no matter what anybody else thinks, and not just jump to something that you really have absolutely no clue about. You know, we don't know what's in that stuff. And again, you're jumping to something that is made strictly just to make money off of us. It's not like we're out there putting relaxers out there. I don't even know if we have African American companies that are making relaxers. So the message would be, learn to love yourself and appreciate how you naturally are. Love your natural self. And then
Well,
you probably be like, I don't care. Like, I'm not doing that. It's not that serious.
we might not be able to name the ingredients in relaxers, but we do know that they're bad for us. I mean, I watched Good Hair, Chris
Right.
Rock's Good Hair, and that was like, I want to say maybe 15 years ago.
Oh, it was more than that.
Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was more than that because that's when the natural hair thing was not a thing yet.
It was, no, exactly. It was not a thing. And
So
I watched
yeah.
it and
Hmm.
I heard him say, and others say throughout the whole movie, this is cancer causing. And I still use relaxers for years after.
Yeah, yeah. By
It's
then I
it's
was natural.
terrifying.
So I was so happy. I was like, well, I'm glad I got out of that. But yeah, exactly. It's like, y'all, cancer. And again, the fibroids, the hysterectomies. I feel like there's probably, and of course they might not admit it. But again, we went from women who were birthing constantly, and all of a sudden now it's hard for that to happen. And of course, there's food and all kind of other stuff that we eat that has all kind of stuff in it. But considering they're telling you it's linked to fibroids, which is one of the things that can cause
Yeah.
you to end up having you have a hysterectomy.
Yeah. And it compounds, right?
Yeah.
If it's diet and your hair and everything else. Yeah, I mean, I totally get how hard it is to decide to make that change. And again, it's one thing we want to do to help people to make it easier with the Crown Club.
Right. Yes.
To be the resource for all questions natural hair, whether it's you're just getting started, whether it's hair, whether it's can I go out with frizzy hair, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, maybe we need to do a whole thing on quote frizzy hairstyles because maybe it's not frizzy, maybe it's just a different way to
It's
wear.
right. An afro is technically a frizzy hairstyle because
Oh,
it's all your curls, but yeah.
okay. See?
And it's gorgeous, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It
it's just
absolutely is. I
yeah.
want to be able to, I don't know that I've ever in my life worn an afro. Again, I was so young.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do want to take a quick minute to mention that, my mother, who is also Black,
Mm.
relaxed my hair and my sister's hair from the time we were very, very young.
Okay.
She doesn't know what to do with hair either.
Yeah.
And
And
and I just
because you
think
weren't
we
taught.
don't,
Yeah.
and I know that recently we were talking on our team about this viral TikTok about a white dad who um he and his partner, they adopted a Black baby girl. I don't know if you heard about this.
I saw it.
You saw that, and he was asking for help and he had to shut it down. And I was actually really bothered by that because the comment saying, well, if you don't know how to do your hair, you shouldn't have her. Like, I don't know how to do my own hair. I'm
Right,
learning. My mother, who is Black,
right,
doesn't know how to do Black hair because we
right.
weren't taught.
We
I mean,
didn't talk.
there's
Right,
this loving father literally asking for help. My mother never asked for help. Okay.
right.
And
Look,
she's
I'm glad you
not.
said that because this is the other thing, and why I don't give them lenience as far as like coming at us with crazy stuff about our hair and whatnot. But if we're still learning about our hair, why do you think it would be such a bad thing for them to ask questions about how to take care of our hair? We don't even know. That's why we're here today.
I'm
So if
asking
someone
you.
from another race, right? So if someone from another race comes and asks, as long as it's not disrespectful,
Yeah.
then answer them. Because I was like, do my sister and her husband, they do this olive oil massage on my nephew's hair at night, and I know, just like, I use just a little bit. Well, it's this Aveeno stuff they use, and they put it on his ends, not on the actual scalp. And that's all I can tell you, because she's a baby, so there's really not much you need to do right now anyway. But my thing was, y'all be patient with the man. He's just, now he was brushing her hair a little bit too much. I was like, it's not a baby doll, put her down, put that baby down. Because did you say I was brushing her hair? I was like, put that baby down.
He was genuinely asking, and I have to say, I have 3 Black kids.
Mhm.
And I should have asked someone what to do with their hair. My daughter to this day is like, I can't believe you never did anything with my hair. I didn't even
Yeah.
think to ask anyone.
You didn't think
And,
that, because
and so I would hate
most
for
people
someone
didn't
to
know.
say to me, what are you doing with that child? It's my
Right,
child.
right, right. It's just one of those things. Again, if we're still learning and we're still teaching, then, excuse me, we have to be lenient on others. Now, if there's others out there, we're not saying come with the silly comments and
Thank
stuff
you.
I've heard. Don't do that. But if you're asking a genuine question, I can give you a genuine answer, because we're all still learning. So, and oddly enough, I have had more of my own who have come with some crazy stuff and walked up and pulled my hair to see if it was real without my consent, more than I have other races, my own. And I thought, if I tell you, like, yes, my hair, it's like they believe. Like, this one lady at Walmart was like, "Oh, your hair's so pretty. Where'd you get it from?" And I'm like, God.
She's ready
And
to
I
buy
looked
it.
up at my hair. I'm like, God. She was like, no, like, where you bought it from? I'm like, the Lord. And she's like, and I'm just standing there, and I had just dyed my hair black. So it did look like fake hair, because even I was like, God, dog, it looks, because it was in wash and go. And it was like the first day wash and go, so it was kind of flat. And it just was, I had like a low, it was just these not perfect curls, because there's no such thing as perfect curl, but it looked fake. So I got that, but I'm like, and then I pulled it and I was like, nope, see, is why. She was like, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, we grow on our own head these days, child. We are free. We are, yeah. I don't know if you knew it, but it was like 2021. We grow our own stuff now. We don't have to buy it. Like, I wish I would go to the store and purchase something that's on my head. No, ma'am. No, I'm not doing that. I'm
Right.
not. But yeah, I feel like it would take, it's almost like you need a couple of days, and then it still wouldn't be enough time to touch on every single thing when it comes to our hair. But I do know this, it's not that serious to go and put something that can cause cancer in your
It's
head.
not worth it. I'll
There's
never go back for
so
this. I'm
many
never going
options.
back. And I feel like I'll be learning probably the rest of my life, more than a couple of days. I mean, I've been on
Mhm.
this journey, I've had multiple, I wouldn't say false starts. So I've had to start all over again a couple of times just because
Mhm.
I didn't have the consistent resource, consistent
Right.
access to someone who could help me. And
Yeah.
not just to someone, but to people, because, you know, um, depending on what stage you're in, and what hair products are going to work, and now what am I going to do? So I this is now, I think, probably a journey I'll be on for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm already better at it, and I
But right,
continue
and
to get better.
your hair looks beautiful. And honestly, I feel like you've overcome the journey here, but you haven't overcome it here. So once you get over this, then that's why I said it's about looking at yourself and being like, I love this, period. As they say, period. And then once you're over that part, then all the rest of it is like, y'all can, you know, go with all that. Like, my hair is cute. and then you
Even
get comfortable trying styles and stuff, other styles and stuff.
I think what you said is might be profound for a lot of us. You said
Hmm.
I overcame it here, but not in here. And maybe you're right.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm there, but I still
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I'm
Because I'm
learning.
looking, I'm like, and guess what? Most people look at you and swear you got it, like you already know. Have you had people come up to you like, "How you got your hair like that?" And it's like, I just da 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 da. They're still working on it. They're looking at you thinking you got it, but you're still in here. Get out of here, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah.
Well, this is a great topic, and I hope that we'll share this for people who weren't able to make it today, and hopefully anyone who's on the cusp or thinking about going back to a relaxer, straightening their hair, will just give it another day, give it
Yeah.
another week, pause, and if for no other reason, it's for your health to leave the
Right.
relaxer alone. If for no other
Right.
reason, it's for your health. I
That's
mean,
the biggest
look,
part.
we all want to look good, but what's the point of looking good if we're not around to look good?
Right. Point blank period. Yeah. And that's my thing. Like y'all, health wise, it's just not healthy. There's too many other options where you can wear styles that last for a couple of weeks and then you do it all over again.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
And fortunately for all of us who are in the Crown Club, we can learn from you. We can learn from Aevin Dugas and other, content contributors and hair experts and natural hair experts, you know, what we can do throughout the course of wherever we are on our hair journey, even if we're there and we don't know it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Aevin. I don't know if you have
Thank
any
you for
other
having me.
final statement you
I
want to say.
don't, I feel like I probably touched on everything. No, it's just, get out of here. Well, get past here. Once you get past here of the thoughts of what it looks like, everything else will just come naturally. Duh.
Love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you
Thank
all
you for
for
having
joining
me.
us.
Thank
And you'll
you.
be able to watch the full recording at our Mighty Networks Crown Club uh, site.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.